must understand, oh, the touch of your hand makes my pulse react. That it's only the thrill of boy meeting girl opposites attract. It's physical, only logical. You must try to ignore that it means more than that. Oh, what's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when...
All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Wake Up Show. This is Lawrence Hyatt Jr. down here at Protector of the Sacred, nested inside the child care office. And today I got special guests with me, Sarah Kilsenwater and Teddy Ray Herman, and we're going to talk all about tourism. We're going to talk life on the Rosewood Reservation, and we're going to talk about how tourism can help our language and culture revitalization. Welcome, ladies. Thank you guys for coming this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
And we also, if you can see, let me pull it up here. Over there on the table, if you guys get on today and you guys comment, leave a question for either Sarah or Teddy or myself. You see on the table, Red Dawn Beauty has some prizes. That's going to be all in one bag. We're going to give that away before the end of the show on a will. So the Red Dawn Beauty stuff you see there, we're going to give that away before the end of the show. We also got a $50 bill we're going to give away, courtesy of Hyatt Management. And again, you got to comment, leave a question, or interact with us. And I'll, if you guys comment, I'll read it to Sarah and Teddy. And then Mallory's got some earrings she brought over that we're going to give away. What kind are these, Mallory? Dentalium earrings. So we're going to give those away too before the end of the show. And Mallory's going to bring them on out and put them by the Red Dawn Beauty.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I might keep a pair. It's a long weekend. Woo!
Oh, those are beautiful.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. You must be using some of that Red Dawn Beauty hand moisturizer to keep your hands in
Shut
good condition. Thank you, Mallory. We're going to give those away. We're going to spin that wheel and give those away before the end of the show. So to start off, you ladies want to just introduce yourself and kind of what you guys do here?
Yes, good morning, everybody. Sichangu Oyate, anybody listening. I am Sarah Kilsenwater. I am a employee of the Rosebud Sioux Tribe, also a tribal member. I've lived here a majority of my life. I currently work for Sichangu Resource Development as a grant writer. And yes, I've been active in the South Dakota Native Tourism Alliance, which is a newly formed organization since 2019 at the direction of our tribal leadership when that organization was in its infancy stages. So I've been involved with it since it started. And yeah, I'll pass the mic over to Teddy.
Hello out there. This is Teddy Ray Herman. I also am a tribal member here of the Rosebud Sioux Tribe, and I grew up here for the majority of my life. About the only time I've ever left is just to head off and get my education and then to come back. I work full-time at the RST WIC office, and I am right now working with South Dakota Native Tourism Alliance, the SDNTA, and I'm a tour guide right now for our program that we're going to be talking about today and the cultural tour that we do here on the reservation.
I didn't know you was over at WIC. Teddy, you had a long walk over here.
Yeah, it was just, really long.
One of these days we'll get you on too to talk about WIC and all the benefits. And I know Missy's trying to get people to come back and fill up that enrollment over there and get clients in the door. So that's something that we can talk about one of these days. Maybe
Missy would like that.
Oh, you guys are definitely welcome over here. My first question, just to break the ice, is I heard you guys say this on council one day. Just kidding, I'm not going to do that to you. Is there anything on the reservation would you guys would consider a cultural experience for people outside the reservation, and one that you consider for people that live here that may not know about?
I guess I'll start that question or answer that. The Rosebud Sioux tribe, in my opinion, we have a multitude of cultural experiences that could be developed for tourism. I think right now we've kind of hit a wall as far as identifying those types of cultural experiences because we need tribal leadership involvement, guidance, support. We also need support from our community members. We need to know from them what areas are okay for us to take visitors to. Are there areas of cultural significance that we need to be protecting? Are there areas that exist within our forest, our natural resources that are in danger of being lost? The plants, we talk about our sage, our cultural, our medicines that are out there that are being harvested unethically and that are starting to disappear. And so, although we have a multitude of beautiful cultural experiences we could provide as a tribe, I think moving forward with caution and ensuring the involvement and support of our leadership and communities is going to guide that work moving forward.
Teddy, you got anything to add to that?
Okay, well, I was thinking that with our with this newly cultural tourism that we have happening now, and our first tour was just last Wednesday, and tourism brings people from different backgrounds, cultures, and traditions, and tourists who we call our guests. They share their experiences and their memories of the places that they visited while they're here on the reservation and of the tours that we give. And they also, you know, remember the people that they met. And, all of this helps to promote peace and knowledge, and the knowledge of our culture that they didn't know about before, or that they may have had some idea about, but now they have a better understanding of who we are, after they've come and experienced our tour.
What's something around here like for us locals? And I'm being honest. I'm from White River, and up until I probably started working in Head Start after I graduated, I didn't really come around the Rosebud area. Now that I've been working here for a number of years, and when I just started this job, this is something that I didn't know, and I don't think a lot of people outside of Rosebud know. But like Spotted Tail is just not even a mile from here.
Yes.
Other cultural stuff that maybe that people from Winter, White River, Norse, people that don't get to come here, like driving through Grass Mountain, that's an experience all on its own. That's
Yes.
very nice. That's almost like being in the Black Hills, to be honest. You go down there, especially this time when it's starting to get green and everything's changing. Just
Crazy Horse Canyon.
Crazy Horse Canyon, all that stuff is there. You guys want to just point out some stuff like that? Maybe that around here we can start experiencing and start enjoying the Rosebud, because there's a lot of beauty here. People see a lot of the bad stuff, but there's a ton of beauty here,
Yes.
especially when you
Yes,
get to
there
know
is.
who you are and where you come from.
Well, Crazy Horse Canyon is on our tour that we are doing right now with our cultural tour. And then we also visit the Bucco Lakota Memorial Museum. And we also visit the church, the St. Francis Mission Church, which is really a beautiful and historical church. We also go to, like you said, there is Spotted Tail's grave and his wife who lays beside him. That's real historical as well. In fact, even where the tribal building is sitting in the annex, at one time, right now where the annex is, that was the parade grounds at one time, especially when they were teaching our young men to become police officers, the Kichita. That was the parade grounds at one time. I was kind of sad to see the annex built there, but, I guess life does go on. But that is before I became the tour director for this cultural tour that we're now talking about and that we're doing right now, I was a tour guide myself, and it's kind of what brought me into this what we're doing right now. And so I would take people there and explain to them that this is, where this agency here on the Rosebud started, and explain to them, how wide the reservation was. It was just around that block there, and then explain to them, well, the old building's been knocked down to make that parking spot there, or the parking area there, but um, and then also the old um, barn that's located back there, where um, what are the tax program used to be, the revenue program used to be, yeah, where they sat at. That's the old barn there. That's still standing, and I really like that. And I will also take tourists to that as well because that's very historical here too. Um, but then we have, like we said, Spotted Tail's grave. There's also where Spotted Tail was murdered at. There is a state sign that's back there, and very few people know where it's at. And I will take our tourists back there and explain to them about what happened, how Spotted Tail was murdered. Um, we also go to like Santa Iglesia University to the bookstore. Now it's kind of reopening, but it's been kind of closed off to the public for the past few years due to the pandemic. But they also have the Heritage Museum there at SGU. They also have the Lakota Studies Department, and the teepee is one that our visitors like to visit. Um, we have the Kiawakpala Community Garden now, which is available, for Matt to be able to take them to, and that they can see what type of vegetables that they're growing, and things like that.
Where's that one located at?
That one is right there beside Turtle Creek Crossing.
Yep. So if you guys go by and see the big tent there, that's not really a tent. It's a greenhouse. It's a huge greenhouse. That's where
Yes.
they're located at.
Down in Crazy Horse Canyon, we have the Natural Bridge, and and then of course in the summer times we have a powwow in almost every community. Then of course we have our special like the July 4th, the Rosebud Casino powwow, the Rosebud Fair powwow. So there's a lot of things to be able to come and see.
And for me, I think I really, in approaching this question cautiously,
to visit and to see. And I've listed, for instance, like Ghost Hawk Park and Kimmel Park in Mission, Antelope Skate Park, and then of course like Beads Dam as a recreation area, Chases the Woman Dam as a recreation area, and Scouts Dam. But yeah, it is really hard to go and see the trash that people leave behind in such beautiful areas.
The tours that we've been developing, I'm trying to go off because Lawrence has disappeared for a second. But
Maybe explain the cultural tourism.
yeah, I think our reason for wanting to come and talk to everybody today was last week was our first cultural heritage tour on the reservation. Um, so some of you may have seen a big, huge red bus with the words Trafalgar on there, and that was our tour group. So I also want to go backtrack a ways back to probably about January when Governor Kristi Noem did her State of the State address, and she had made a statement where it sounded like she was taking credit for some tour buses that were going to be coming through the South Dakota reservations. So we heard that come out. We've seen it in the Todd County Tribune. We've seen the community backlash of our people, not only from our tribe, but other tribes. People just did not receive very well. And so there was a misconception that the tours that are happening now are Kristi Noem's tours. And I just wanted to inform the public, our tribal members, the people living on the Rosebud Reservation, that that is not true. These are not her tours. These tours were developed by the tribes. What happened was the South Dakota Department of Tourism, through our partnership with the SDNTA, the South Dakota Native Tourism Alliance, they were approached by a company called Destination America. And Destination America wanted to see if there were any cultural heritage tourism opportunities with the tribes in South Dakota. At that time, there were none. And so it was put out there as an opportunity to work with this company to develop some tours for tourism, I guess. And so they kind of put it out there for all the tribes in the state of South Dakota. Pine Ridge has been doing tourism actively for 19, 20 years now, and they are like a well-oiled machine over there. So they jumped on the boat. Um, Also, Marla Bullbear from Lakota Youth Development, she jumped on because she's been doing cultural heritage tourism tours over on the far eastern edge of our reservation in the Milks Camp community for a number of years. I think around 20 years she's been doing tours and working with the youth out there. And so they have a really great program developed. And so she volunteered to be a part of this. And we also were able to work with the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe and Sitting Bull College and the MHA Nation up in the far northern part of, of North Dakota. And so this tour that's coming through goes through all of these reservations.
right, we are back once again live. Hopefully our audio is corrected. Give me a second to see if we. All right, we are back once again live. All right, we'd like to apologize because our audio was going out, and man, these girls had some really good stuff. So you, you probably didn't hear Sarah, but she kind of got lost as I stood up and kind of left the program. I went and found a different chord. So now we are we are back live, and just to recap where we're at right now, we're about 30 minutes into this. We had some really good talks, so we're just going to have to recap for you what we was talking about. But first of all, what you see on the table here is from Red Dawn Beauty. We're giving that away when you comment, or we're going to give that away today. We got a $50 bill from IA Management, and we have some Detalium earrings that you see on the table from Mallory that she donated to. We're going to give all that stuff away today, and we got about 20 more minutes to finish up the show. But what I want to go back on is we hit on some point of interest around the reservation. I will list them that for some tour sites. We talked about how when we bring people to the reservation, and also when we walk outside, what we see ourselves, and we kind of we talked about how when we go like the Scouts Dam or we go to the Natural Bridge, the kind of destruction that we do to our own homelands. And we weren't pointing any fingers, but we were saying that we are going to have to step up and start taking care of this stuff ourselves, because a lot of it has a lot of history that Teddy Ray touched on. Um, we see the yards, tons of cars in the yard, tons of trash. We do once a year cleanup, and that's just not enough. We need to start taking care of our land and ourselves, because right now it's really all we got. We have a big area, but you can tell when you cross the county line, and when you come to just across the county line, you come to our home. There's a lot of beauty here, but we don't really get to see it because there's just so much trauma, and that turns into just not taking care of ourselves. So if you guys just want, I know there's a lot of people online that want to hear you guys. I'm going to give it to you guys to just kind of recap what you were saying.
Well, I know Sarah had been talking about the cultural heritage tourism that we're working on, and we have several other tours coming up. We have one in July coming up, August and September and October. And I know with the October tour that they're talking about, they're also advertising for those tourists that want to go to the Black Hills powwow. That's part of the package as well with Trafalgar. So, and you can look up Trafalgar tours online. But we were talking about where with cultural heritage tourism, where we're marketing, like our traditional ethnic culture to attract tourists, and then in that we're attempting to raise awareness for our language revitalization as well. As I know that you kind of wanted to touch on that. So, as a part of our tour, some of the communities we go through 10 communities of the 20 communities that we have. We go through 10 of them. And our starting point is at Corn Creek. The bus comes. And then from St. Francis, we go through Rosebud, and we talk about points of areas in Rosebud. And then we conclude, well, we don't conclude yet, but we do drive through Mission, which is touching Antelope. And then we stop in at Turtle Creek Crossing, and we have a presentation done there by Sechanga Coast Matt Wilson. And then from there, we go on to St. Glesker University, and of course, driving through Antelope again. And we stop there, and then Bill does a presentation there of star knowledge. And so these tourists, it's a day trip for them. And then they end up in Chamberlain for the night, and then from there they continue on to, which is still part of our reservation at Milks Camp, and they go to the youth development.
Lakota Youth Development.
Lakota Youth Development, which Marla Bolbear is the executive director of and the founder of, and they spend a day there with them. So we have them for 2 days on the reservation here. And so they're taking in a lot, they're learning a lot from us. And, we were talking about with the language, for instance, when we drive the Hida community, and as me as a tour guide, I'm standing in the bus, looking at all the people, explaining to them about, all the communities we go through, starting with Corn Creek. And for instance, when we go to Hida community, I let them know that this community was called Shukaboka, Mill Dog. So, we do talk about the Wojaji chief, and then, we bring up our Lakota words like that. And so it's helping them to learn about our Lakota language as well. So in the long run, that kind of helps to preserve our language as well.
I think don't forget at SDU at the end of the day that there is an opportunity for our local entrepreneurs to make some money. So as we wrap up the first day of the Rosebud Tour at St. Glesker University, after Victor is done with his Star Knowledge presentation, St. Glesker University Art Institute actually has an art show, art exhibit that they set up in the TP building. And then we also offer, it's unlimited because of the space that's available, but 4 to 5 vendor tables. So we're going to try to be rotating those and offering opportunities to other entrepreneurs, other artisans on the reservation, so they have an opportunity to make some money on those days that the tour buses are here.
Nice. And where do people go to see your guys' schedule of your next tour dates? Or if you guys have any upcoming?
Well,
I was kind of worried about that, my people. I was like, I really wanted to post the schedule. I wanted to post it, but after reading some of y'all's Facebook posts and everything about you guys are going to egg these buses and shoot their tires out with bows and arrows, I was kind of apprehensive. I don't know if that is a good idea to post. I don't know how the people feel but that's just something I was fearful of, in bringing people here, that some of our people might go renegade and start egging buses and things. I don't want that to happen. So I'm just kind of apprehensive about sharing those dates, and I don't know if that's something that our leadership wants me to share, and if they do, I'll share it. But it's just something I'm afraid of. I don't think any of our people would actually do that, but you never know.
You definitely
Yeah.
never know. And I would sure hope not. I mean, that's sounds crazy, but I do believe that somebody was probably posting that and stuff. And that's kind of what we talked about. I hope they could hear that earlier was we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot all the time.
Yes.
We want this, we want that, but we don't want to put the work in to get
Yeah.
it. And that's kind of what we talked about with looking at Scouts Dam.
Well, and going back to that conversation, on some of those Facebook posts, a lot of our tribal members expressed sentiments about being observed as if they were zoo animals or like they were behind cages or something. And my response to that was like, well, wow, is that really how you see yourself? And I know a lot of our people struggle with having self-pride, self-confidence, mostly because of the lifestyles that we endure here on the reservation due to no jobs, lack of housing, all of these socioeconomic factors, that impact the lives of our tribal members. And I know that that does have a direct impact on their ability to envision a brighter future. When you're constantly engaged and struggling to survive on a daily basis, it's hard for you to look beyond what you're going through today and to see a brighter tomorrow for our children, for the next 7 generations of Lakota, Sichangu coming up.
And then I would also like to say that in the places that we stopped at with our tourist group, um, the people from home that they ran into were good to them and friendly to them, and our people that were on the tour, they just really enjoyed themselves on the reservation. I asked them when I was given the tour, I said, raise your hand besides the Pine Ridge Reservation, because they visited the Pine, because this is a 9-day tour. And the first reservation they visit is Pine Ridge, the very first day that they're here. And then we are on the third day and the fourth day that they're here. Then they go on up to Standing Rock and then on up to North Dakota, up to the 3 affiliated tribes there. So like I said, it's a 9-day tour for them. And so um, they were saying that other than Pine Ridge, they had never been on a reservation before. And these are people from throughout the country here, and there were 4 people actually on board. I asked how many of you are of tribal descent, and 4 of them raised their hands. And so, but they didn't know anything about their tribes. And so, after the tour, they had told me that they were going to go back and learn more about their tribes and where they come from. It kind of gave them that incentive. But everybody on the tour was very genuinely interested in our people. I looked around at them, I made eye contact with them, I visited with them, and they weren't just bored looking out the window or anything. We had been told that there may be that chance that people like to get on the bus and then they just like to look out the window. But that didn't happen at all. They were just totally engaged with me and in what I was saying. They asked a lot of questions. And so they were genuinely interested, which was, really nice. And to be able to teach them a little bit about our reservation and our culture was really satisfying to me.
Do you ladies think it would help? Maybe if some of our local people, like we were talking about earlier, they couldn't hear, like up from White River, I didn't know that Spotted Tail was buried here. Um, until I started working here at childcare. But do you guys think that maybe there should be a plan or a tour that that families can go on the weekend? Because you guys start in the Black Hills and you guys come all the way this way and end up where?
Up at the 3 affiliated tribes in North Dakota.
So that's a long tour, but
Yeah, it's a
um,
9-day tour.
but coming just taking a trip from the Black Hills to sacred sites. I mean, you talk to some people, the whole Black Hills is sacred, but there's certain sites over there like Wind Cave and stuff that they should tour, come down, learn about where you're from, and I think that will bring out the inner beauty of Rosebud because there's all kinds of places there that are beautiful that we just take for granted.
I think, when we talk about cultural sites of the Black Hills, the group, when they get here, they go to Pine Ridge on day 1. Day 2, they spend in the Black Hills. So when they go to Pine Ridge, they visit the Pine Ridge Area Chamber of Commerce, and there Mr. Ivan Sorbel has a huge, it's a rock sculpture in his visitor center, and it's of the 7 sacred sites. And so he teaches, they go over those 7 sacred sites of the Black Hills, and when they're the next day they visit the Black Hills, they can at least see where some of these are, like Blackout's Peak, but they don't ever get to visit them. But they still can identify those places on a map. And when they come to Rosebud, when they go to talk to Victor, Victor ties his Star Knowledge presentation into what Pine Ridge does. So whenever we talk about, in our culture, what's below is also above. And I know you guys have been spreading that word through some of the stories of our elders and things. And so that's really an important piece to tie this whole tour together. We wanted it to be tied together. Our tribes work together to ensure that tidbits of information that were shared here may be further explained by other tribes and by what they practice and their beliefs. Because even though we're all Lakota, we all have variances in our belief systems from res to res, community to community. So it's really important to acknowledge that fact and to allow our other partners the opportunity to do stand on that. So we do make a concerted effort to tie in the educational pieces that we're providing through this tour, so that that way they see that we are similar. Although there are small variations, most of our belief systems are the same. And so it's really important for them to see that consistency throughout their tour, and so they can have a better understanding of who we are today and our belief systems and our culture.
So, oh, go ahead, Kenny.
Well, I was gonna say, but on a local level, if we're talking about just doing tours on the reservation, we could do something like that. And also, like I said, I am a tour guide, so I could do that as well if they wanted to get a hold of me and they wanted to do a tour on a weekend or something.
I think that would be great. Maybe childcare when we get our new building, we could co-op with John Charles' transit program, and they got a big bus.
Oh,
They
that
just
would be
load
great.
people up. Take them
That would be
around.
awesome.
Yeah, we can work with the tribe on doing something like that. Just because I mean, even me, I've lived on this reservation my whole life. I've heard of the Bucco Museum. I've seen signs of it my whole life, but never until 2019 or 20 did I walk through those doors and actually experience the beauty that is contained within those walls, the history. And Bucco is a lot. We stand apart from the other tribes in this area because the Bucco Memorial Museum is a collection of Sichangu Lakota art and artifacts and things. No other tribal stuff is in there from any other of the tribes. It's all Sichangu. When you go to these other reservations, they have mixed, things in their displays and everything. But that's one really cool thing about Bucco is that everything you see in here was collected from here, from our people, dating way back to when Father Bucco was alive and doing his work here on the Rosebud. So to me, that is, and to never have seen that my whole life until only have experienced it a couple years ago. And talking to some other tribal members, people have never been there. People don't know, the history that we possess, that we can be sharing with people to describe our history, but more ultimately to define our future, right? We're sharing these stories so that way we can write a new future for our people. Yeah, this happened. We endured all of this, and this is what we're living through right now. But this is what we're working towards, and it's really important to have that vision. Without that vision, then we stay here spinning our wheels and not moving anywhere.
Yeah, last time I was over there was probably a few months ago, and I was luckily enough to be over there with Rodney and Dwayne Hollowhorn Bear. I was really amazed by the winter counts they have in that room. And just from looking at, to me, they look like drawings. But being there with Dwayne and Rodney, you could tell a comet went by just by looking at that. They could tell you what happened and stuff.
Mhm.
And it's so much history that we have. And like you said, first time I visited was probably about 5 years ago, but I've been back 3 times since. Every time I'm back, I see more and more stuff. One question for you ladies is that I have is how can tourism help revitalize the language, Lakota language and culture?
I think Teddy touched on it a little bit earlier
Yeah.
when she's talking about like when she's on the bus. I mean, there's multiple different aspects when you look at cultural and language revitalization and using tourism as a tool to do that. Um, you look at like what Teddy does on the bus. She starts with some introductory pieces. She's teaching them some language, some of our words that describe our Teoshpais, our families. So she's kind of giving them some of that. But to me, with the vision that I have moving forward, I feel that tourism is something that we want to hand off to our youth. We want to hand this off to our youth to manage and to develop the way that they want to do it. Putting this in their hands and giving them that opportunity to work in this field, to me, is a way that we drive them to want to learn. And when they're learning, they retain that when they're sharing that with visitors. So they're learning our culture, parts of it, piece by piece, or however it's coming to them. And whatever they're retaining, they're able to share with the visitor. And so, learning that, being able to retain it, and being able to share is all a part of revitalization. And we want that ultimately for our people here. But when we look at language revitalization, cultural revitalization, it's a huge movement globally right now. There's indigenous nations throughout the world who are working on this type of work to try to share and try to preserve what they have left. And so it's a really cool tool, and if we use it right, we could be successful. That's how I feel about it, and I know Teddy has some sentiments about it as well.
Well, also, I was just going to say, tourists, they have the potential to learn and then share our language as well, So that's kind of what I wanted to say about that and helping to maintain, our local culture and our language. And then I also kind of wanted to just remind people that, you know, the the child care program here, where we're sitting at, that they mapped the Lakota speakers here on the reservation. And they identified 500 speakers that are age 70 and older. And there was two that were under the age of 30 and zero under the age of 18 that are fluent Lakota speakers. And so if it's not preserved, we're going to lose that within 10 years.
And you guys have to remember that our tribal population, our overall tribal population is 49% 18 and under. So that means that a lot of our resources should be going to that population. A lot of our efforts to do this kind of work, I feel like that's where we put our investments is in our youth population. I feel like for so long they've been overlooked, but they are really a powerful population who have the potential to make really positive impacts for our people in the future. And I think giving them the guidance and tools that they need to make that happen is something that we should all be focusing on as a tribe.
I agree. And then Teddy, sometime here, I'll get with you. Those numbers have actually came down. We're going around updating since COVID. We've lost so many speakers. And there's a couple of communities that are actually don't have any speakers left. So the language is essentially gone in those communities. So we need to do a lot of work.
So yeah,
to start
it's
bringing it
definitely
back.
telling you that, this is an emergency.
And before this all ends, I just want everybody to know that the tribe has recently been awarded a BIA Tribal Tourism Grant. And with that grant, Sichanga Resource Development is working on a feasibility study. So I want you guys to kind of keep an eye out over the summer, mostly in July and August. We will be out doing community visioning sessions, trying to get community input. Even if you're against tourism, we want to hear it. We want to know why. We want to try to work together to overcome those obstacles in developing something that could be potentially beneficial to our people.
And then before we totally wrap it up, those bulletin ladies go after they have their final say, and then Valerie and myself will give away the makeup from Red Dog Beauty, the Taylor earrings, and $50 cash. So you ladies and gentlemen, get on.
I can sit around for some questions. I know Teddy has to
Oh,
leave.
Teddy's got to go.
So if there's questions, I can sit around
So
and
it's
answer
almost
it.
due. Teddy, if you got some closing remarks, anybody want to say hi to or whatever you want to do.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I just wanted to say that we do have a Facebook page. We had started a Rosebud Community Action Team, and for those that are interested in being a part of it, get a hold of us and let us know. We plan to have a meeting in the future about that, and that focuses on the church and that we're doing here on the reservation.
It's called an action team because we want people to come. We want to be able to talk and to develop plans, to work together to develop tourism. But ultimately, at the end, it's called action team because, we want to take action in some shape or form after each meeting, whether that's going out and doing a community beautification project, cleaning up trash along a ditch, something as a group. And our hope is through role modeling that type of behavior, we would be able to impact some of our tribal members to get them out and start helping to pick up and clean up some of the trash around here.
And so we have a Facebook page, and I've been updating that with some of our tourist photos. And before we actually did this first tour last Wednesday, we went on several practices with with SDNTA, with George Washington University, and actually they even brought on all of the tour guides, professional tour guides from South Dakota, from all of these places that people go to visit in the summertime. There was about 13 of them they brought, and took this tour, and Sarah and South Dakota Tourism Calvin Blumendahl, who we always work with, he was. They told him, okay, now just ask her question after question, get her, So and I handled that pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we really practiced for this tour, and so there's pictures of that on there as well. So we do have a Facebook page. It's Rosebud Community Action Team. So look us up and like us on that. And then also, I really, really want to give kudos and thanks to Victor DeVille for all of his historical information that he's shared with me and able to make this tour happen.
Yes, Victor's been very instrumental in helping us to develop what content we are sharing with our visitors. And so we're not sharing anything that's sacred or protected by our people. We've been told by our tribal historian that it's okay to share this information. So he's been very critical to the development of this tour.
And then I also wanted to mention that besides Sarah and myself on our tour team includes like Terry Gray from the Heritage Center and from the San Diego Wesleyan University, and Victor DeVille and Matt Wilson of the Chonga Cove,
Harold.
Frank Water, Harold Compton, Sean Bordeaux.
And the Ben Black Bears of St. Francis Mission,
Yes.
Deacon Ben and Ben Black Bear III.
Yes. So, they've been really instrumental in helping us and helping us to get the tour going, as well as like South Dakota Tourism and the other reservations, So
Yeah, this has been like a pilot project too. I want everybody to know that this is just year one. We've been engaged to enter into year two, but I said no, I have to wait and see if this is something my communities and my tribal leadership want me to continue with. So right now it's just kind of like a little pilot project. We were trying to test our capacity to see if we did possess the professionalism and the capacity to actually put on a professional tour. And based off the feedback we're receiving, we've been successful in that. So kudos to our tourism team that's been working hard for the past 2 years to put this all together. It's finally feels so great to have it actually happening now, and a lot of that stress is left, and to see the fruits of our labor is actually quite rewarding.
okay, so that's all that I had to say, and Sarah can answer questions.
I'll get some questions out from Sarah, and then we'll give away this stuff. Thank you, Teddy, for coming. And
Thank
then
you.
Missy,
Yes, thank you, Teddy.
I would like you and Missy to come over and we can talk about health and waking up. How that'll help our community over these
Okay.
days.
Yes, she would like that. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Mel, if you want to grab that mic, we
See
can
you
get this
guys.
stuff
See
put in.
everybody out there.
See you on the flip.
Sarah, what do you think that we could do, or what kind of what kind of campaign can we put together to clean up our reservations? Or where should we start, or how should we start um, showing off our beauty of the reservation, or where should we begin so people can start taking pride in where we live? It seems like the only time we come together is Rosewood Fair.
Yeah, I know like right now, with last month being Earth Day, I was really talking to my boss. I'm like, geez, these tours are getting ready to start in May, and our place is just trashed, and in April it was still brown, and the trash was everywhere. But when the green grass started to come up, it camouflaged all the trash that's laying there. And so I really wanted to kind of get together like a Earth Day month kind of thing. But I said right around that time, I started to have those discussions with when the tribe put out its community cleanup. And it's always hard. I don't know why it's so hard when we have these things that are scheduled to happen, but it's still so hard to collaborate within the communities to, make those efforts bigger and more noticeable. Like last week, I think we went up to Standing Rock, and they actually had like their inmates in the ditches cleaning up, picking up trash, things like that. And I always wonder, why can't we do things like that? Why can't we take the time and work out these agreements with corrections and get our inmates out there to help with this initiative? Because, really, it's sad because our people don't want to work. I think a lot of the young people are now expecting unrealistic incomes since
Yeah.
COVID. And, like, I think during COVID, it was like $20 an hour minimum pay, like everything was starting at. And, now that it's over with and things are going back to normal, so are these pay scales. And, and people don't want to work for that anymore. And it just kind of blows my mind. But even if you're offering incentives, people aren't responsive to that anymore. And I don't know what's going on in our communities, but um, I don't want to say people don't care because I know people do. It's just I don't know that motivation piece. How do we motivate?
Yeah.
To me, that's a bigger question. I think we can do all the planning and programming in the world to go out and clean up this reservation, but without people wanting to invest their time and be motivated to help in these kinds of initiatives, and it's just we're constantly planning, we're constantly putting together these plans to engage with our communities and get our people wanting to be a part of this change, but it's just hard motivating them to come out and to do that. And I don't know if anybody else out there has any ideas on how we can overcome that, but it's been something that's been challenging us, I'd say, for many, many years. I mean, looking back, I've been working for the tribe for over 15 years now, and it's always been an issue. Is getting people motivated to come out. You can have all these community sessions and provide all this information and education opportunities to our people, but they won't come. So that's my biggest challenge in trying to motivate and engage. Um, so we can plan all you want, but it's like, how do we motivate people to come out and be a part of everything?
That's a good word, motivate. I think that's true too. When I used to work for Head Start, parents turn out for our meetings was real poor, real down. It was hard to come to get them to come to a meeting unless we fed.
Yeah,
But like in Mission, we have, I think there was, when I was working, there was 5 classrooms. We might get maybe 10 people. Out in Norris, where there's not much going on, we'd have a start meeting. It was almost like a family function. Everybody was there. And Norris is always a fun community to go to graduate from it. Everybody showed up. It's like a big family out there. And I don't make it to Camp and Winter. Oh, that's one thing that we should talk about. Is you were telling me about Marlo's program out there. You made it sound so awesome that we're trying to find a trip so that we could get out there because I don't think is it open to the public.
it is. Marla, and then they offer tours throughout the summer. She has a lot of great programming, and I know not a lot of our youth, but some of our youth are fortunate enough to be able to participate in the work that she does out there. A lot of her efforts are focused on cultural revitalization, teaching our youth our traditional ways, prayers, stories. They teach them a lot about the plant nation, how our plant relatives help us to sustain our health, and all these different things. And they um, oh my God, they had Chef Braveheart there, and she taught the youth out there how to cook like a, what do you call it, 5-star meal or whatever, like one of these really beautifully plated meals. So the youth out there actually all prepare a meal out there, and they use the things that they grow that are growing naturally out on their 10-acre campus out there. They go out and harvest the flowers. They're edible flowers, and they use them for decorative pieces, like on their desserts and things. And it's just really cute and really beautiful and really empowering to watch these youth um, take control and actually share this part of them, part of who we are with visitors from other places. It's really I can't explain it to you, but it's so empowering to be surrounded by youth who have that goal or who have that drive to want to educate people. It's really a cool place to be. I think, Marla's way over there on the east end of our reservation, and I think that's part of the secret to her success. I feel like because she's out there and not over here with the rest of us, there aren't so many crabs in a bucket trying to pull her down. You know what I mean? So she's able to go and she's able to be successful and teaching our kids and helping them to relearn our ways and to share them with visitors. But I think she does take tours, or you would just have to contact Lakota Youth Development. They have a web page. They also have a Facebook page, and just schedule a visit. And they do teepee stays. They do all kinds of really neat things out there. And these kids are the ones who do it all, you know, under her guidance. And of course, they have elder and elder advisory team and all that out there. But, you know, for the most part, the kids are doing the work. And it's a beautiful thing to see.
That's awesome. Now that we got Valerie on here, but I was going to ask you two ladies. Um, we want our kids to get out there, and we want them to be involved. We want them to help clean up, take care of the place. But just an honest question for you girls: what is there to do? School's out. What is there to do for kids now? Like right now, what are they going to be out there doing? There's no theater. There's no gyms open to them. There's no. Well, how do we solve that? How do we keep them busy and keep them involved in the community when we really don't have anything for them?
I think it's going to take, like, to me, I mean, you look, even our recreational areas, like I touched on earlier, our lakes are trash. They're unsafe to swim in. You know, I don't know if anybody's ever done water sample testing to see if there's cow manure and things flowing down onto our waterways because, you know, these cattle are encroaching on these waterways, and I worry about the safety of the water for those children who are swimming in that every summer. So, I mean, to me, I think we're like, I wish, I'm not going to say it, but I wish our kids had more resources. That's all I'm going to say. And I wish, you know, collectively our programs that we would all work together, our programs and our leadership to put together something. You know, right now, the only thing operating is Boys and Girls Club, right? And they're doing a great job for kids, what, K through 8, I think is what their population is. But for our teens, there's nothing. You know, there's youth employment. I think that's all that goes on. Lori offers the summer youth program. What else do they have? There's nothing. Redco has their 7 Gen program. I know they fill up quick. So, you know, the rest of our kids are sitting here with nothing to do. And it's really frustrating and depressing to them. I've heard a lot of them voice that. You know, they get depressed. It's summertime. They don't get to see their friends. Some of them who live in these outlying communities are stuck, you know? And so I don't see anything. I don't know if Mallory knows of anything that's available for our kids, but I don't see anything. I mean, for our teens.
Valerie, as a kid, what do you do to have fun, Mel?
I don't know, like I did struggle. Well, whenever I was a teen, I didn't really like it anyway, so I don't know. But I think one thing that is available is Tia and Tom Cousins program because they're doing youth events and adult events this summer, mainly like working out, sports related activities. But I would like to see, because me, I don't fish, I don't hunt, I don't do anything like that. So I don't know any places where um, kids can go to do that. I know there's a lot of people that do that, but I don't know any places that they can go.
I look at, I've been seeing Facebook posts from some of my partners in all the other reservations through tourism. And, you know, the other reservations are really doing phenomenal things for their youth during the summertime. They take, you know, some money and they invest it and they host these culture summer camps. You know, they may have different names. Each reservation has a different name for whatever they're doing, but they have these cultural summer camps for their youth. And you know, they may have you know, a week for the little kids or whatever, but it's something. It's something, to me, something is better than anything at this point, you know, and I think, you know, Protector of the Sacred might be a great route to kind of develop some summer youth camps, you know, and moving forward and looking at future years. If there's going to be no investment in youth programming or youth recreational opportunities here by our tribal leadership or anything, then we need to work to develop those things through our programs and whatever else, whatever little resources we have available to us.
I know. I think I'm going to read your mind, but I think I was so hyped up a couple of years ago when I really thought they were going to put together a youth rec center. I really did. I was really hoping because during COVID, that happened in my son Tyson's senior year. Um, state basketball got canceled. Like I think after the first day, and then so he was done. Next year, Aiden, his senior year, he basically did it on the laptop, and I could see that depression sink in. Not because he was missing out on a lot of it, but it was just school. It was faces. That's how much they don't have anything to do because they were just wanting to go to school and play basketball or play your extracurricular activities. That's how much we don't have around here where they look forward to go to school. Or if nothing else, they're going to hang with their buddies and be unsupervised.
Even the schools, I remember when we were growing up, the Todd County School District would open up Rosebud Elementary. You know, we'd have open gym nights and things like that. When we were growing up, we had CYO. The churches were involved in providing recreational opportunities for our kids. And, you know, not having anything, shoot, we all flocked toward the CYO, even though some of our kids weren't even Catholic. You know, it was something for us to do, a place for us to congregate. And that's all they really need. They need those social needs met, you know. We've all been teens before. We know what they want, but, you know, things have changed. And back to that, you know, Mallory was a part of planning for that youth center. Her and a handful of other youth from the other schools, you know, they were the ones who planned that. We just put it together according to their vision, you know, and that plan still exists. All we got to do is find some funding. I know Councilwoman Wright Plank wants to work with our office on developing a Sicangu Youth Foundation so we can look to start raising funds to build our youth center. So those are things that have been in the works, kind of been slowed down by some of our other priorities with some of the other hats that we wear as tribal employees. But, you know, it's still a priority initiative of ours. Is we would like to get that started and work towards fundraising to get a youth center built for our teens and youth here on the reservation.
If there's anything I could do to help with that, I would definitely be involved. I'm too old for it, but my kids probably are too. But all my youngest would enjoy it. But I would just like to see it as some place for our kids to go to have. We definitely need it. Well, I can't wait till our new place out here is built. That's going to be so awesome.
I'm so excited to see it. I remember when Gail and everybody was dreaming it up. And I'm like, this is going to be awesome when it's built. And I can't wait to see it.
I was flying the drone the other day and just how long the tunnel is going to be. Wind Cave was like 125 feet. I went and walked out from the building and to measure it. Man, it's going to be huge. So I can't wait till that thing's here.
It's going to be awesome.
It is. So I got some names here on the wheel. So I'm going to give you guys a couple more minutes to leave a comment so I know who's all going to be on this. And then we're going to give away the $50 cash, the Red Dawn Beauty Bag, and the earrings from Mallory. So you got a couple more minutes. Sarah, is there anything you want to say? Anybody you want to say hi to, or any closing remarks, or you want to chew anybody out, or point any fingers at anybody here?
No. I just know Latoy and Ken are watching me at work. So hi, you guys. I'll see you in a little bit. I don't know who else was listening. So
I know Hope Reynolds was on there saying what she say? Good job, ladies and lords. Very good and informative podcast.
Oh, my sister. Thank you, sister. I love you a whole bunch.
She's entered in this drawing too. She said if she wins, then she wants it delivered to her.
Okay.
By you, not by me. All right, Mal, if you want to tell us, we'll give away your earrings first. If you want to, those are handcrafted while she's watching Netflix. Those are done by you, right, Mal?
Yeah,
Yep.
I made those.
So Mallory made those earrings.
There are 3 pairs.
3 pairs, so we're going to spin this wheel 3 times. We can see if I got any more names in here. I think I got everybody. Ready for the first pair of earrings from Mallory. We are going to spin the wheel.
So we'll do a short pair first.
What's that, man?
So we'll do a short pair.
The short pair. Val's going to do the short pair first. Spinning the wheel now. Arlene Elkson, that the winner of the short pair.
There's 2 short pairs. Which one?
Either one. They're both the same.
Arlene. Okay. So we're gonna leave. We got less than 20 here, so I'm just gonna leave everybody in and spin again. So you might win twice. Or should we remove her? What do you girls want to do? You guys make the call.
Remove her.
Holy.
Yeah, we're going cutthroat.
All right. Ouch. Okay, spin it again
For the long pair this time.
for the long pair. All right, here we go. Here we go. Bobby Marshall, long pair. Bobby is removed. And
Short pair.
for the short pair, the wheel is spinning, and Stacia Claremont.
Spacious.
Stacia, that's one of the black pipe. So Mallory's
For this
happy.
one?
Yeah. Okay, and then we will give away. We'll give away the $50 cash. 50 cash. If you guys don't want to come down to childcare, I can give you your cash app. I'll cash app you, or PayPal you, or I'll just hold it for you. Meet you at the casino.
Casino stop.
There we go. Oh, no way. Hope Reynolds.
She said cash app her.
She probably will. All right, we'll remove her. Now we're doing. I don't even know what's all in that, girls. You guys,
It's skincare.
you guys ever get anything from Morgana Red Dawn Beauty?
I get her facial wipes. They really work well. They remove your makeup, make you feel fresh, and your face smells really good.
Well, we should do a commercial after this.
They get face wipes, looks like 4 face masks, face scrub, body shimmer mist, a perfume, Victoria's Secret perfume, a lip gloss, 2 liquid
And a palette.
2 liquid lipsticks, a palette, eyeshadow palette, and a Red Dawn beauty bag.
Stacia said, "Yay, thank you, Bill."
You are welcome.
All right, here we go. Spin the wheel. Bobby Ron. Bobby Ron.
And she don't even wear makeup. Oh, she can give it to Moo.
She could.
Melina's gonna win state today, and she can give it to her.
Nice.
She does.
Nice. Well, thank everybody for tuning in. Our next podcast will be next Friday because we did it a day early because we have a 4-day vacation coming up, girls. What are you guys gonna do?
Sleep.
Mallory, you probably got softball. Huh?
No, not this weekend. We're going to Waikiki.
Waikiki. I wanted to go to winter to the drive-in movies, but I think it's gonna be too windy and too. We'll see on the weather. But thank you guys for tuning in. Sarah here with me. Mallory's here, and then we had Teddy earlier. So thank you guys, and we'll see
Thank
you
you
guys
for having me.
Thank you
next
for
week.
coming.
You're welcome.